This is just a test. I wanted to make a short stream to see how I'm new to this whole Twitch thing, so I've heard that it's cool to have like your face and stuff, and Twitch is doing that, so why not try this? So anyway, I wanted to eventually take this and see if I could upload it over to YouTube and do all that stuff. So today's instructional video is concerning an opening I'm seeing a lot as I play some beginner friends of mine, some beginners online that I work with, and I'm not like a chess coach, but anyway, it's the so-called Damiano defense, which arises after e4, e5, knight f3, and you can see this is the so-called Damiano defense. And the question mark here, if you're not familiar with chess notation, has to do with a move that's considered dubious. And you can pause if this ends up on YouTube or however I'm going to do that. You can read all about it here. But what I want to do is cover. Well, first off, white is going to take this pawn, and I want to show you what I think I remember as the best move is queen e7. But before we dive down the best moves, I want to kind of go into the so-called worst moves first. All right, and so obviously queen e7 is the best move. F takes e5 is not good because it just kind of opens a can of whoop. I don't even know. Can I cuss? I don't even know. It opens up a large amount of problems for for black. All right, so queen h5 check is what you're going to do here. There are two moves out of the check here. Again, we're going to show the worst one first. Best move is queen or king e7, and who wants to move the king, right? Because you want a castle, right, someday. So that's the best, but like I said earlier, we're going to cover the worst moves first, and that's g6. The reason for that is after this capture, we've got the check on the king, which obviously forks the rook in the corner. Best move first, right? Best move is to block with the queen, but it doesn't really matter. I think probably in my personal opinion, the worst move you can do is to block here, because after this capture, now this knight's in trouble and pinned. So again, worst move, or best move would be the queen. Still gonna grab this rook in the corner. The only difference is that black does have this check. And we're just gonna calmly move king d1. Because the queen was attacking that c-pawn anyway, and we're just up so much material. Should be a pretty easy win. So that explains, in part, why this move is a little bit better. Although, in a couple moves, you'll see why the king move, because we're still going to grab this pawn. And king of 7's only move. We're going to follow this up with bishop c4 check. Now the next move, which is weird, I don't face it too often, is the reason why the king move was the best. The best move is d5 here, and this is a pawn sacrifice basically, and who wants to do that, especially when it feels like you're under attack and your king's out of position? But I'll show you why. Because if we do the other option, the worst move, we have queen f5 check. Only moves for the king to end up in the corner here. Then this check is just devastating because the only move you can block with is g5, and then we have h4. And there, it's just game over. This is like I mean, you can try to, let's say we try to defend here. Well, you take with the pawn, and this is a double check, so the king has to move, and then this is mate. Let's say, oh, hey, but Gavin, I'll just counterattack your queen. Well, this time we'll just take with the bishop. This is a fork. If the king moves, we get the queen for free, so best move is for the queen to take, and unfortunately that's also mate. So no good. So if we go back to this position, now you might be able to see why this pawn sacrifice is the best, because now after the same move, white doesn't have the f5 square anymore because the bishop's covering it. And ultimately, the game is even at this point. It's 3 pawns for a knight. So materialistically speaking only, the the game is even. But this is not. I mean, if you scored this with an engine, there's no way that white doesn't have like a massive score lead because of king's safety, right? And then we've got moves like h4. Black needs to stop this pawn, and then we've got cool tactics like the bishop can take here with no problem. Looks like it's undefended, and hey, I can just grab that. Well, that's game over, right? Because now black is just it's over, right? There's very little that we can do. Another option maybe here, but we're still that allows the pawn to advance, and then that just adds another attacker to this side of the board, and we don't need that. And again, we still have this type of stuff. So I wanted to cover this because I'm seeing this a lot when I play beginners, and I'm not sure why. I kind of thought that this particular opening or its dubiousness was well known, but apparently not, because I've probably seen 5 or 6 games like this over the last couple weeks playing beginner. So it's not to say that if you like the Damiano Defense, go ahead and play it. It's a little bit dubious, but you have to know what you're doing, especially after this knight captures, right? Remember that queen e7 is better, but even after playing the best moves, I mean, look, black has one piece developed. White has a lead in development just by being the first to move, and we're going to end up being able to develop with tempos and attacks on the queen. If we're not supposed to move the queen out so early. We're ready to castle already. Black is massively underdeveloped, and that's why even when you're playing the best move, queen e7, it's still dubious for black. So I hope that helps out some beginners. And again, I'm just doing this to try and figure out. This is like my second time on Twitch, and I'm trying to figure out how to link this to YouTube and upload it and all that. So I thought I would do some instructional stuff. So I see I have one viewer. Hope you liked it. And until next time, I'm out of here. Take care.